up to the podium and make a statement to you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, before long.
And we thank him for being here. This event just magnifies our willingness to work with each other. Unfortunately, it's the loss of life. But between the state police and the FBI and the sheriff's office and the other agencies, Farmington, Bloomfield, and Aztec, we're going to get through this thing. We're going to try to give you the facts when they become available. I know there's been a lot out there on social media and some erroneous reports that may have got out. People were misinformed. But I can tell you what we know, pretty simple. There are 3 dead, 2 of which are victims. 1 is the suspect. We haven't identified everyone yet and fully informed all the families, and we're not going to do that until we're absolutely sure of what we're doing. So we're not going to be giving names out today.
Thank you. I'll be very brief. I don't want there to be any question that we've not assembled the best and most capable law enforcement team to investigate this situation from beginning to end. And that's important for the families in the community, and that's why we're here. You know, when called upon by the sheriff, we've worked together for many years. We didn't hesitate. State police will cover calls for Aztec PD as they've been out all day on this. So we'll go ahead and take care of that for the next day or so. Whatever they need to support that the agency that, of course, this is in their backyard. We're responsible primarily for the crime scene, assisted by the FBI, working in conjunction with the FBI. We'll make sure and work through the first initial scene, which is the school, and that may lead to different scenes. We just don't know yet. The sheriff's very correct, and we don't have a lot of detail for you right now. There's a lot of things that we need to do associated with the investigation. I'll tell you this, the sheriff talked about his years on the department and hoping to never have to go through this. When I first became chief, if you remember, we had a situation in Roswell. It's very similar. Unfortunately, this outcome in Aztec was much more tragic. I spent some time in this community, a little over 3 years assigned to the Farmington area as a state police officer, and I know a lot of people. And I spoke to a lot of them when I got here, and it's amazing when I asked them if they were okay, how many said, you know what, I got a call from my kid in that exact school telling me that they were okay, or whispering to me on the phone, wanting to be helped and saved. And imagine that as a first responder, that going through your mind, knowing you have a job to do. But many of the officers that live in this community, the kids were going to that very school. So I'm very, very pleased at the response by the Aztec Police Department, the San Juan County Sheriff's Office, and the state police. They were very quick to get to the scene and mitigate, as the governor had said, the violence that was happening. Other than that, I've defined the state police role. We'll be here for the next few days, again, working hand in hand with the different agencies. Thank you.
I'm going to be brief also. I'm Chief Heel with Aztec Police Department. This is a horrific event that occurred within our city, and it's something that we would hope would never occur. Our love, thoughts, prayers go out to those families who have lost 2 children in our community. It's a terrible day. I am so thankful for the men and women, the Aztec Police Department. They responded in less than a minute up there to get there and help secure the scene and do what they needed to, and I think they helped save lives up there. We have wonderful men and women. We have some other people at the schools that will come forward in the days, as the governor was telling you, a couple of heroes we have there that help save lives of those kids. And I'm assured as we go further into the investigation that additional heroes will come forward in this tragic time that we are going to be going through. We invite you all tonight to the Minium Park at 6 o'clock so that we can be there and take care of that. I am so proud of the team we have up here and the cooperation we have in law enforcement. All law enforcement agencies within this community have reached out to me to offer their help, support, officers between Farmington, Bloomfield, the Sheriff's Department was there immediately, State Police, and I know I'm going to forget somebody, FBI. But what a wonderful group we have here that would come together and say, okay, this is what we're going to do, and they're going to make sure that it happens, and this is investigated until we get to the very bottom of everything. And I assure you, nothing will be spared till we get to the bottom of exactly what happened. Thank you.
We're going to wrap up this press conference for this time, and I'm sure there will be something coming forward. But as far as questions, we don't really have any further information to report. Obviously, we want to be able to provide you the information when we're able to obtain it. But this is an ongoing investigation. At this point in time, there will not be really any information to disperse other than what has been informed to you by this group. I want to thank everybody for being here, and we will make sure that we keep everybody posted on forthcoming information and or press releases or conferences. Thank you. We will actually hear from, I think we can go ahead and hear from Aztec Municipal Schools. Superintendent Carpenter?
Obviously a tough day. I think everything's been said. It's amazing to see people come together in such a tragedy. And, you know, at schools, our primary rule, obviously, and primary job is to educate students and keep them safe. And when you have something like this, it hits you in the heart. But in this, I think it's been said, we had several people at the schools. We obviously do drills, and you hope that nothing ever happens at a school. But when it does, it's reaction. And our staff, even substitutes, reacted in a way and honestly saved a lot of lives. But to sit up here and tell you that it doesn't hurt, we lost lives. But to see the way people came together, the response from the law enforcement and this community is amazing. And it's just starting, because obviously there's a lot of healing that has to take place. And will have to take place for a long time. It's in times like this that you feel violated because of the way schools are set up. Those are places where we send our kids to be safe. And they still are safe places, but sometimes evil intrudes on them. But I will tell you that we have a lot of great people in our community, the first responders. We have a lot of great people at our schools that did the right thing. And we will help our community mend. Thoughts and prayers are obviously, I should say, out to the families that lost their children today. And we lost children as well, because we are one big family in Aztec. And we will start the mending process. But we have a long road ahead of us, but we are Aztec, and we will get through this, and we will get through it together. And we just appreciate everybody. Like I said, we worked through drills and things, and we put together plans today, and it came together. And we appreciate all these men and women behind us, the Secretary of Education, the Governor, everybody coming together, because that's what New Mexico is all about. So I think that's probably all I have to say. But again, I want to thank all of our staff at that high school, that once things started, they did what they needed to, and they saved a lot of lives up there. Thank you.
There's been a lot of people that have reached out, both locally, regionally, and nationally. The number one thing we've told people is just pray. A lot of hurt. But I think at this time we are going to go ahead and bring Chief to set us forward with our Sheriff, Ken Christensen, back to the podium.
So, as far as the investigation goes, I know you have a lot of questions from your reporter seat in the community. We can't answer detailed questions because, one, either we're not in the position to or we don't have that information. We understand if you have some general questions, we can field a few of those. So feel free to ask. Oh, sorry.
Is the shooter from the student?
Don't know that. We haven't confirmed it yet, Nancy.
Can you tell us how the shooter died? Self-inflicted or as a result of your efforts?
If you can, try to repeat the question. We do not have a field mic.
Sorry again, sir. What was that question?
Sorry, can you tell us how the shooter died, by his own hand, or was he taken down by law enforcement or someone else?
the question was the shooter, I don't know if everybody heard that, took his own life or someone else shot him. At this time, we're just gonna hold back because, let's let the crime scene people work, okay?
That's an important factor, as I said, but you're asking specifics and I get it, but, I would err if I made a judgment and then crime scene came back differently. We'll know more tomorrow, definitely, on that. Lizzie?
Can you just start with, when did the call, what time did the calls start
Good.
coming in? Who was calling students, teachers, what were they reporting?
I think the initial call came in shortly after 8 o'clock. I don't have all the times yet, but it was shortly after 8 o'clock. Class was in session.
The initial call came into the Aztec Police Department, correct, Chief? And the chief, to the dispatch center, yeah, exactly, Aztec Police were dispatched. They responded initially, and of course made immediate entry into the school to mitigate the situation. How they did that exactly, I can't go into detail because we're working through those interviews of those officers that were responding. But it did start rolling, or unfolding a little bit after 8 o'clock. We can tell you that we believe the students were in class at the time. Class was in session.
Chief, you mentioned some cases of bravery. Can you talk a little bit about, the governor mentioned bravery. Can you give us any more details on that?
I can tell you that there were individuals early on that we heard had taken action there, and we're working through those interviews. If I started to list that out, third or fourth hand information, I may get it wrong. I think that's all going to come out in the next couple of days. Yeah.
The chief mentioned that law enforcement responded within less than a minute. Could you elaborate on that?
Chief?
Call came in, and the officers that were responding, there was 4 of us that responded from my department. The first 2 got there, checking with dispatch center in a minute or less. To the school.
I want to make it clear to you early on, there was reported that there were multiple injuries. We can say with all certainty that there were no other injuries to any students or faculty at that school. We know that we have 3 individuals that are dead. Do you know what type of weapon was used? Do not yet right now.
So the governor mentioned, Chief Fields, about you're going through a window. Did you go through a window to get into the school? She said that when she was making her presentation. And by the way, praising you.
You get that, or you want to?
You can if you want.
No, go ahead.
We were able to make entry into the school through a window in the door, yes.
So to elaborate a little more too, is the school goes on lockdown, correct? So no one can get in or out. The police have to get in, and that's how they made entry. One of the ways that they made entry to get into the school.
Any other rumors that you can dispel? We heard that there may have been multiple guns.
Rumor, not true.
Okay, that's any other
Thank you.
rumors like that that you can?
I don't know. I would be guessing if I knew all the rumors, but yeah, that's a good one. It's no indication.
Go ahead.
I just want to confirm, there are no injuries other than the 3
Yes.
individuals who are dead.
Exactly.
Hey, can you talk about the victims, male, female, other students?
I can't. I'm not in
No.
a position to right now. We want to make sure that the families are all notified and we exactly know who and what we're dealing with, Nancy. So that's a little difficult right now. We're a bit removed from the scene and we're waiting for that information to be confirmed. I know there's been some discussion with media, with students. I'd say it's all speculation right now until you get a formal release from the PIOs on exact names and identifiers of who was involved. I can't stop you from reporting on that, but right now law enforcement is not in a position to confirm it. Jose, you had a question?
Just the shooter, male or female?
I don't know yet. I think it's safe to say the shooter's male. I can give you that. Yes, ma'am?
I heard another student had been taken into custody after the event.
Not that I'm aware of.
Did the shooting begin in the classroom or in the halls?
I can't elaborate on that right now, or we can't elaborate on that right now. It's a dynamic scene. We know that. There's a lot of stuff to go through, but I can't exactly tell you where it started and where it ended right now. Yeah. Take a couple more.
I just want to confirm who all responded. I know there's a lot of people involved.
Aztec Police Department, San Juan County Sheriff's Office.
It was on call, and Farmington Police Department, everyone headed that direction.
Bloomfield, yep.
Chief, anybody facing charges?
Yes.
We're working through that. Not right now. As of right now, I'm going to say no to that. Anybody, he has to be anybody's facing charges. No.
Do you know, did he know the people?
I don't know, Nancy. Those are good detailed questions. I just don't know. We will know that. Don't get me wrong, but not right now. Eddie, in the back, you haven't asked anything.
Which agency is going to take the lead on this investigation, and also what's the plan for school moving forward?
So I'll tell you, the lead is San Juan County Sheriff's Office. They're going to take the lead. They're responsible for it overall, with assistance of course, we talked about the state police and the FBI doing our part to help them. Is that right? Correct?
That's
Sheriff?
correct.
That's correct. Yeah, the PIOs, the information you're getting out there, it's a joint effort, just like the investigation is a joint effort. There's absolutely no way to do this with one agency. So.
Now, there was a question about the schools, and let me let the superintendent.
Obviously, at this point, the schools will, specifically there, no school tomorrow, will probably cancel schools across the district tomorrow. Our main objective right now is to take care of kids, take care of families. We have a lot of social workers, counselors that will be on hand to address those needs. As we said, we want to start the healing process, and this isn't something that just will affect those students. Aztec's a small community. We shut down Main Street Runs Homecoming, so everybody's out and about, and this is something that we want to make sure we address the needs of every family, and that's our first step. So as far as moving forward, that's obviously right now, we don't know what's going to happen, specifically up there, because there's a lot that needs to be done with law enforcement. But as of right now, our first objective is to address the needs of our whole community and all of our kids and families at this point in time.
Can I ask the superintendent a question? Can you walk us through where you were in the day, like what time kids come to school, and when things normally start? Like, what is 8 a.m. the start of the day, or class, second class period, or what is it?
That's a first period. We do have some 0-hour classes. That is first period up at the high school, and our schools all start at about 8 o'clock. Yes, sir.
So this
That.
Like a deja vu, for like 3 months ago, different county, but you said,
3 years ago, you mean?
3 months ago.
Oh, yeah.
Is this like deja vu?
The answer, simple answer is yes. Yes.
Young lady back there.
How can people help?
A lot of prayers.
Are you looking for any information from the public? Investigation at all?
You know,
Go ahead.
actually, that's a good question. A media release went out, I believe, that asked any of the kids that were in attendance at school that may have saw something to call the sheriff's office. I believe it's still the dispatch center. It's a very dynamic situation, so of course we're trying to get the kids out safely, checking for any additional suspects, if there are, moving them to another site to then be released to their parents. And we understand that parents want to be reunited with their kids. That's of the utmost importance. We still have an investigation to do, so we're hoping that anybody that saw anything, whether they were working at the school at the time or attending school, to call into the interviews right now. So, yes, sir.
Do you know about how long it was that the situation began and was resolved?
I don't. We'll have that information. I just don't have it. I don't have it.
Have they been notified of both the shooter and the 2 victims?
I can't answer that yet. We're still in the process of notification and identification on everyone for a positive ID.
There was a tweet that was sent out on NMSP's official account that says, quote, the families of the victims were notified immediately. So is that the case, or was that just misinformation that went out a little bit further?
I don't think it's misinformation. I think that we were in contact with a lot of different families. We've honed it down to the families that we believe are associated with these unfortunate victims. But out of respect for them, we want to make sure that we encompass and talk to all of the sometimes difficult. So we'll get there. But, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we don't know who the kids are and we don't know who the family is. We do. We're just not in a position to release it to everybody out there just yet. It'll come from us officially soon enough. So thank you, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said that 2 students had passed. I'm wondering, were the shooters a student or?
I think we're getting through all the questions that we can answer in a general fashion. I believe that most of the ones that are going to be sent our way are going to be really specific. So I think at this point, we're just going to cut this off unless anybody else has anything else to say.
The governor would like to.
And been confirmed by law enforcement, please don't the children. There are going to be rumors. They shouldn't be posted. They shouldn't be in the media. They shouldn't be on social media. It's insensitive for families to hear that, a dozen kids have been injured when it's not correct. Then a panic comes in and families are worried, or that there are multiple shooters. I mean, if it's not coming from law enforcement and confirmed, please only rely on that. Otherwise, the rest are just rumors and gossip, and it makes for people, it's just not fair to those families and those kids. So I ask you, confirm law enforcement, because otherwise it just makes everyone insensitive to those that have been involved. And I just ask, be patient. Those answers will be, those questions will be answered, but we have to make sure that they're right. They're working the scene right now, so we cannot give you answers of what they're working on right now. So please be patient. It will come, but it will come in a confirmed manner, and not by rumor and gossip and just putting things out for the sake of putting things out. Governor, the information, and who do we go to? I think that's probably part of some of the issue. There's so many different agencies involved.
Well, the sheriff's office will coordinate with our partners, and we will, when we have more information, maybe tomorrow, that we will be happy to disseminate that. But until then, I really think we have to just let the investigation go a little bit. We have a lot of work to do, and we need to get that done as quickly as we can. I understand you're hungry for information, but we're doing everything we can to find out ourselves before we can tell you. I want to be right when I tell you.
So in closing, the next steps are, one, we're going to be processing the crime scenes at the school throughout the night and probably into the next day. So we'll be doing that. We'll be conducting the investigation from the interview standpoint, recreating exactly what happened to document that. And again, as the governor had indicated, we're bringing in a lot of support and assistance for the families and the students that are involved in this, and that's very important for the community. I think that's really all we have. Okay.
Can we ask the governor, are you going to speak this evening, Governor, at the vigil?
No, I intend to attend, just like the rest of the people from Aztec and the surrounding areas.
As I close, I just want to let you know that obviously San Juan County, working with its other jurisdictions, this is something that we have set up Unified Command. We have set up a JIC, or what's called a Joint Information Center. After this press release, in this press conference, we can certainly get some information to media if they have questions about our contact numbers.
Let all that stuff out on Facebook. People are going to want to get their vehicles.
Right.
They're all still up there. Their wallets are closed.
So we will be certainly open to providing you contact information. We are very organized in terms of the process. I can't say enough about the process and how everybody came together. We've trained for this. Obviously, it's a very challenging day, but we have taken all the steps necessary to ensure that the organizational process is in place, and that we're going to move forward and not only learn, but also provide you information as we get information. So that will conclude the press conference, and we will keep you posted as to when the next one will be. Thank you.